Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. I'm excited to be connecting in with you as we connect in heart to heart in March and really look ahead at 2018 and beyond. And I thought it was a really important time of year. Here in the States, we're looking at spring, and there's a lot of planting and growing of things that takes place during this time of year for us. And I feel like we're a third of the way, almost a quarter of the way through the year, 3 months in. It's really a good time of year to pause for a moment and think about what we're planting. Think about the activities, the things that we're doing right now. Is that leading to where we want to go? And planting can be things we're physically planting in the ground. It can be things we're planting within ourselves. It can be things that we're telling ourselves, activities that we're doing, actions we're taking, sometimes aware or not aware that we're doing. And one thing I've really learned in planting is that you've got to loosen the soil, remove things like rocks and stones and things that could block the growth. Space things out enough so there's actually room for growth. I learned last year you do not put a full container of cucumber seeds in one pot. They get quite large. It doesn't work very well. And so I learned that you've got to create room, allow room for growth. Allow room for nutrients to get to those roots. And I needed to change my routine a little bit to tend the things I was growing. And I found it was really important to reflect back in my own life and think about, do I have some rocks? Do I have some things that are no longer serving? Is it time to release some of those things, remove them from my life so there's room for growth? Are there some new habits, new routines I want to check on? Maybe I was really enthusiastic in January. Now it's the end of March, and perhaps I'm not remembering to do those things. So it's a really good time of year to check in. Not with criticism, not with judgment, not with harshness, but just checking in and seeing, am I on track? Are the things I'm doing now that I have added to my plate, that I am planting in the ground, are those the things I really want to plant, that I want to pour energy, time, and resources? The other thing I learned about my cucumbers last year, as much as I like cucumbers, I don't need 50 cucumber plants. That's a little off balance for the number of cucumbers I'm going to use and consume. So I was very mindful this year about how many of each thing I planted, and really planting, because I have limited space in our garden area, really choosing those things that I wanted us to grow, that I wanted to spend the time and energy, that were meaningful to me. And it also, again, is a mirror back in my life. Am I saying yes to too many things, trying to grow too many cucumbers again? Or am I spreading out and adding in those things that matter most to me? So I want just to think about this as we're looking at springing forward powerfully. Are we setting ourselves up for success? Have we released things that are no longer serving so there is room? Or have we packed things so closely there's no room to pause, to breathe? If something grows, we're going to be in trouble and we have to take it off our plate. So look at the space that you have. Look at, have you allowed room and planned on growth in those areas that matter most to you? And think about what you're telling yourself, kind of the mindset. Sometimes we talk to ourselves very harshly or with criticism. And those are kind of the seeds we're planting within ourselves. Instead of treating ourselves like our own best friend, pouring positive things and information into our life, celebrating the wins, celebrating the things that we're doing so we can keep going forward. So today, I have amazing experts that are going to walk beside us today. They're going to help us look at setting goals that it can actually be, and I want you leaning in on this, easy and fun. Like we could be excited about our goals and what we're building and what we're leaning into, that we can choose what we say yes or no to and put it into action and release those things that no longer serve. Today, I want you to be able to get the most out of our time together because I believe you are here on purpose. It's not an accident you tuned in and are listening to the show, which means there is something here for you, and I want you to receive it. But the best way to receive it is to stay fully present, not just in body, but fully present, tuning in, tuning out everything else so you can be here and claim this time for you. Let's breathe that in. Beautiful. This is your time. Those of you who are driving, please stay safe, eyes open, just inwardly tuning in. But those who are able to, I really want you to put your feet on the floor, feel it supporting you. Sit back in your chair. Take a deep breath. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, bringing you all in. Mind, body, soul, and spirit. And close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. Breathe in through your nose. Big breath. Actually see how big you can make your belly. And then out through your mouth like through a straw. Take another big breath. Make your belly bigger this time. Keep breathing. This type of breathing will reduce your stress levels, your cortisol levels, bring you very present, mind, body, soul, and spirit, so that you can truly receive what is here for you to receive. So in this quiet space, eyes closed, you're absolutely safe. I want to think about what it is that you're planting. Perhaps some things to release, creating more room for all that you want to plant, grow, and bring forward in 2018 and beyond, being purposeful and mindful about it. And as we think about these precious seeds that you're planting in fertile soil, what is it that you need? What is it that you need that will support you, encourage you, empower you? Just see what that answer is. We receive information in lots of different ways. Beautiful. And I'm going to add another layer to this. So we've talked about what it is that you need, and I'm going to add in are willing to receive, because you have choice. So what is it that you need and are willing to receive? See if that alters your information a little bit. Or even strengthens it a little bit. Wonderful. Great. So once you have that information, I'm going to invite you to come back. Big breath, fully present, eyes open, and I invite you to write down that information that you received, what it is that you need and are willing to receive. And I'm having you write it down to keep it top of mind. It's so easy to get distracted, to forget, to move back out into the busyness of life, that we can miss that very thing that we needed and are willing to receive that's right in front of us because we aren't looking for it, we forgot. Or we're attached to it coming in a certain form instead of being open And I want you to be open and eagerly anticipating receiving what it is that you need today, are willing to receive in an unexpected way. I want you to be surprised and joyful and in awe of receiving exactly what it is that you need, are willing to receive, so that you can spring forward powerfully in your life. Let's breathe that in. Wonderful. I'm going to go around our virtual room here as we're connecting in heart to heart and ask each of our experts that are joining us today just to share quickly, 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, something that when they paused for a moment and listened, that was laid on their heart. So Rosalyn, I'd love for you to share something that was laid on your heart when we paused and listened.
Well, I think the one thing that came to me was patience. I just recently had an operation on my foot for a hammered toe and a bunion, and it's really hard to be stuck in a bed when I'm so physically active.
Yes.
And I decided today that there's an hour in and an hour off, and every hour there's a stretch break.
Nice.
There's a stretch break because I like to move, and I'm very limited on what I can do. And it's a story for life.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But I love how you're recognizing, giving yourself patience, and that you're creating movement opportunities, even with the limitation. I think that's beautiful. Thank you.
Yep.
Margaret, how about you? What was laid on your heart?
For me, it's about creating more space for me of nurture time, taking an hour out every day of something that would nurture me and my body and my being every single day.
Beautiful. I love that. Nurturing you, your body, and your being every day. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Listeners, what about you? Is it a reminder to remember to nurture yourself? To be patient with yourself or perhaps others or situations? What is it that you need today that will support you, encourage you, and empower you? As we get ready to go to our first commercial break, here's what I invite you to do. I encourage you to stay present. Treat these 2 minutes of commercials as a special time just for you. 2 minutes carved out. You'll hear them throughout the show. We have these 2-minute moments built in, and they're designed to help you stay present, to breathe, process, and integrate real time. So you're not having to add things to your to-do list, but you're actually incorporating them while we're here connected, heart to heart, and here to support and pour into you. So enjoy these next 2 minutes. Really see what's being spoken into your heart and spirit. And we will look forward to deepening the connection and continuing to pour into you in just 2 minutes.
Voice America Women. Your passion starts here.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
For women, the pressure to achieve is stronger, the work hours longer, and the struggle for respect and authority more complex than ever. You want guidance on how to succeed, and you are not alone. You're invited to take your coffee break with Game Changers on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern for our special series, Game Changing Women. Powerful women leaders will help you make sense of it all, analyze how you can change the game, and share their playbooks. Game Changing Women, presented by SAP on the Business Channel.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes just for you, that you really took that opportunity to pause, breathe, integrate, and listen to what's being laid on your heart, what's being spoken into your spirit that you need today, that will encourage you, empower you, and help you plant the seeds that matter for what you're wanting to grow so that you can spring forward powerfully. Well, welcome back. As I promised, we're going to have a deeper conversation. I want us to pour into you. And so we're going to talk with each of our experts, tapping into their wisdom and their expertise to support us on our respective journeys. So our first guest expert, you heard a little bit from the heart when she was mentioning nurturing, really remembering to carve time out to nurture herself, because we can forget that and allow ourselves to be. Margaret is an author, a keynote speaker. She's a business coach, an NLP trainer, and master hypnotherapist. She's absolutely passionate about helping you bring the transformation and change into your life that you need and want so you can have more of whatever it is you are seeking in your life. Please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Margaret Braunack to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for asking me to be here.
You are welcome. Excited to have you from all, we're now circling the globe because I know it's actually 4 a.m. for you there. So I want you to know she's dedicated and pouring into you no matter what time of the day, morning or night. I appreciate you leaning in and making time to join us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Now, would you mind sharing a little bit about why you're so passionate about helping people with this transformation? You're so dedicated to this. So why does this personally matter to you?
I guess I've seen for a long time people really struggling with their lives and really doing life hard. And to me, that really inspires me to know that I can actually show them a different possibility, show them a way of having a life that's more easy.
Beautiful. And everyone, I want you just to pause and breathe that in, that your life, it could be easier. I think so often we think it has to be harder to bring in those things that we want. And I just want to, let's bust that myth right now, that it can be easier to get the transformation.
Letting go of the struggle.
Beautiful. And I celebrate that. So that can be something that no longer serves. We can release that struggle. Beautiful.
Yes.
And, along with life can be easier and bringing in the things that we're looking to bring in, I know you have a little bit different perspective on goal setting, that you actually find it easy and fun. And I would love for you to share a little bit about this, because I don't know that everyone feels that way when it comes to goal setting. And I think we can learn something from you in this. So I'd love for you to share about that.
Well, and truthfully, I had never, in the early days when I first, sort of started looking at setting goals, I didn't find it easy either. And I guess there was always this concept of not really having an idea of what I really would truly desire to have as a creative, generative life. So I actually started setting myself targets because I felt, because I've lived so much judging myself, that I found that setting targets expanded a little bit more for me on the goal setting, and it just gave me more space not to go into judgment if I didn't meet my target. So I sort of twisted a little bit of the goal setting to make it work for me.
So what I'm hearing is that instead of calling it goal setting and it's either you make it or you don't, kind of, it's either all or nothing, you're instead treating it like targets. So getting closer to the target, getting closer to the bullseye counts, and that's something to celebrate, and we can keep fine-tuning it. Is that a correct interpretation?
Yeah, and also too, like I found with the goal setting, that if, like, I'd go into judgment of myself if I didn't reach the goal on the time I'd set myself. So by having a target, I could look at it and go, okay, well, I didn't quite get the bullseye on that one, but I can reshoot at it. And I always found that was a space that allowed me not to judge me if I didn't get it exactly set the way I had planned in my head to get it set, which was really all limitation. I just finding ways not to judge myself.
No, I think this is really important and really valuable. And I'm loving the picture that I'm getting. Like, you actually get multiple attempts at this. You can adjust for wind or whatever, so you can get closer and closer to the target. It's not all or nothing. I missed it, I don't try again. And especially if we're trying new things or we're trying to incorporate habits, what a relief to release all that pressure. And getting close counts, and you can get closer and fine-tune it, and by golly, you can take another shot at it without criticism and judgment. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Beautiful. Let's all breathe that in. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And I'm curious, as we're getting closer to the target, I was just thinking when people play darts or different horseshoes or just different games where there's a target and getting closer, when people are watching, they celebrate, oh, you were even closer this time. Oh, so close. Like, there's a coming together and a celebration. It's not just when you hit the bullseye. But you're right. We can really be hard on ourselves and talk about how we didn't get it exactly in center and perfectly right and get disheartened. Whereas we can take another shot and we can actually cheer ourselves on. So I'm just underlining this vision again, because I think this can really help us celebrate getting closer and moving forward, and it become a joyful process of setting goals, not this, I missed it again.
Yeah, definitely. And looking for anything to stop ourselves from judging ourselves. That, to me, that's the ultimate form of abuse. Every time I make myself wrong for anything, I'm abusing myself, and that's not kind and caring and nurturing to me and my body.
No. And so let's just together take a breath. Release that judging and criticizing that we can do of ourselves and carry around, that those are not the seeds we're going to plant right now. We're going to release those. Those are the little parasites and weeds that are going after our seeds. So let's just release that. Beautiful. And I also know you have this interesting perspective on how the past, cleaning up the past, ties together with the choices we're making now. How does that connect for you, and what advice would you give around that for us?
Well, to me, I live my life from what has shown up or what I've created in the past. I don't need to take into my future. So every single day I look at letting go of whatever has shown up in that day, so I don't have to wake up the next day and take it into the next day. My first book was very much around people living in Groundhog Day, and so letting go of whatever you chose to create on one day doesn't have to equal the future, is how I live my own life, which I think creates more ease and space.
Beautiful. So a brand new day, truly, every day. That's building your future. Beautiful. I love that. I love that. And tying into this new day and what we're building and what we're going forward, how does the energy that we're in, how the energy we carry with us, how does that affect our choices and what we're bringing forward and what we're desiring? How does it tie together?
Well, for me, I always look at the energies of what gives me a sense of space, energies that lighten my world up, that is a sense of joy. If an energy is heavy and contracted, I tend not to follow that or make those choices. So I'm constantly being present with, okay, so is this choice I'm about to make, does it lighten my world up? Does it bring me a sense of fun and joy and expansion? And if not, then I go, okay, cool. Well, I don't think I'm going to choose the energy of heavy and contraction. It just makes choices so much easier to make.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that when we are in this moment of choice, stopping just for a moment and feeling in, kind of taking on, how does this feel? If I say yes, does it feel heavy and contracting and hard, or does it feel light, joyful, and expansive? And perhaps choosing that joy and that expansion versus heavy and hard. And I think so often we don't slow down and pause. We just charge ahead, and then we're surprised that it feels that way. So what an important reminder to remember to choose and pay attention to the energy and how it makes us feel when we take those choices on. Beautiful. Thank you. Anything else?
Can I just add one little piece in there?
Sure.
To me, that's also a fantastic way of staying present in the moment. I find if I'm constantly checking in, it keeps me present with whatever everything is that around me.
Yes, because it's easy to get disconnected or get in our head and not be present to how all of us, ourselves, are being affected by it. Our body, our spirit, etc. And people around us even. Sometimes we can get so separated. So thank you. Really good tip on staying present. Well, I appreciate you getting up so early, tuning in and joining us today to pour into us. Thank you for being with us today. And listeners, we're getting ready for our next commercial break, and I invite you to be present. Pause and breathe. Think about some of these goals, and perhaps we can shift them to targets. And some of those choices that we're making, we can perhaps choose those that feel lighter and expansive versus heavy and hard. And with that, we'll look forward to talking with you again in 2 minutes as we continue to dive deeper. Talk to you in just a moment.
This is the Voice America Women's Channel, where your success is limitless.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Relationship issues? Anxious? Parenting challenges? No more. Learn to live your best life. Tune into Straight Talk with top therapist, relationship, and anxiety expert Sandra Reish. Learn to transform your challenges into effective solutions. Whether it's relationships, parenting, anxiety, or other traps, Sandra will show you how you can live the life of your dreams. Listen live every Thursday afternoon at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Health and Wellness Channel.
Have you had a chance to check out Voice America's online magazine and blog, Press Pass? If you love our hosts and shows, check out articles that give an even deeper perspective. Plus topics about health and fitness, movie reviews, philosophy, business tips and tactics, spirituality, positive thought, current events, and even more about your favorite host. It's just a click away at vapresspass.com. That's vapresspass.com. VA Press Pass by Voice America. All access, all the time.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation. Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you had a wonderful 2 minutes of pausing, reflecting, releasing what no longer serves, and perhaps looking at things you can celebrate, getting close to the bullseye on the target, and that you can try again and fine-tune it and choose things that feel expansive and uplifting rather than heavy. And we're going to go deeper into this conversation of choosing, because I think sometimes we get caught up in making decisions and weighing this and that to the point where we're not taking action. We're not always moving forward. We can get a little stuck in the decision-making process. So we've talked about feeling into what feels good and light. And then there's also this point of action. And one of the things I love about our next guest is she's a woman of action. And you're going to hear some of that as she shares. And she's also a master at choosing positivity, choosing kindness as she moves forward in life. So I know you're going to enjoy our conversation. So Rosalyn is a college professor and public speaking instructor. She's an author of multiple books, an international motivational speaker, a TEDx speaker coach who's absolutely passionate about helping people choose kindness, choose positivity, choose to move forward no matter what, and release what does not serve. So please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Rosalyn Kahn to the show. Welcome!
Morning, Rebecca. It is so wonderful to be speaking with you this morning. I love you so dearly. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you on your show this morning.
Woohoo! Thank you, Rosalyn. I love you too. Excited to have you joining us. I know our lives get so busy, so it's always so nice when we can connect in together, heart to heart. So great to have you with us today. And I would love for you to share a little bit about why. Why is this work of helping people choose positivity, choose kindness, choose to move forward? Why are those things personally so important to you?
Well, first and foremost, every day we have these opportunities to, choose. Is it going to be a good day or is it going to be a bad day? And in the last 2 days in home with my foot up in the air, I've had numerous conversations with people. And I'm always saying, you've got to look at what's good and what's great, even if we just simply wake up in our bed and before we climb up out of bed, thank you for the day that I'm given. I'm given another day to breathe, another day to celebrate, another day to exist. That's before you put your foot on the ground. And there's a saying in a book that I read, and it talked about the value of sleep. And if you write down a list of 10 adjectives, try this tonight, and depending upon the number of hours of sleep that you get will determine the flavor of the positive or the negative energy that you'll receive. If you don't get enough sleep, you will only be able to remember the negative ones. If you get enough sleep, you'll remember the positive ones and the negative ones, and the positive ones will go ahead and flavor you. A friend of mine told me this lesson, and it was in a post I posted yesterday, and it said, every day is a life of experience, good or bad. Ask yourself what you've learned. And I'm always looking for those to say, what is it that I've learned that I can take away, that I can use to help me out tomorrow? Just as our previous speaker had said, you may not have the goal, but how much closer we're getting and what progress have we've seen. We only have one life to live, and if we can do it by brightening others' days, that's what it's truly all about.
Beautiful. And really making that choice before your foot hits the floor. I love that reminder that before the foot hits the floor, before we start taking steps in the day, really being mindful of this and what we're choosing. And I'm also hearing that nurturing that self-care, really having the amount of sleep that we need will help our attitude and our aptitude, and will help what we're choosing to move forward in, and even flavor how we're seeing the world. They're really powerful. Now, something I know, because we've had conversations, one thing, so listeners, those of you who don't know Rosalyn, what I have learned is she has an idea, she has a thought, and before long in our next conversation, she's already put it into play and has it started. So she's really good at moving ideas into action. And I just would love for you to share a little bit of how that goes for you. And I know you have several books that you're working on, some that you have written, and they all started as an idea. Same thing with our presentations, with your involvement with TEDx. It started with this idea, and then you decided to take action and bring that forward. And I'd love for you to share just kind of how an example of how that works for you, and how we can bring ourselves those ideas into reality.
Well, I want to talk about how we take those ideas and make them into reality. And one of the principles of what helps me gain this clarity is the daily meditation. And it's the meditation that we do that clears the mind, that shows us what's really important. And when you see what this, we get these messages, and our subconscious tells us what it is that we need to focus on, and sometimes we listen and sometimes we don't. But the key is this: if you have this idea, listen to it and take one thing at a time, and you do it until it gets completion. So an example of that is I recently put out this newsletter, and I want everyone to know I had this operation. It was a week ago on Thursday. And before I went into that hospital bed and I had that outpatient surgery, the newsletter was written. The newsletter was written, and it was done, and I had it edited, and a roadblock came in the way. And I said before I went in the hospital, okay, it's not going out on Friday. I want it out on Friday. But I don't care what goes ahead and happens. It's going to go. And so when option A failed, before I fretted on what wasn't happening, I found option B, and I persevered, and I had a second person who came in. And when it came to getting out those email addresses, I can only work on the computer for an hour or two, and I get these incredible headaches. I did what I could. And when it was 1 o'clock in the morning and it wouldn't work, I said, okay, you're going to go to sleep, and when you get up, you know what you need to do. That's what you're going to make happen. And when I got up in the next morning, I called someone, and she said, do this, and what wouldn't work the night before worked. And I could almost cry tears of joy when I tell you that this newsletter went out, and there was over 200 people when I looked at it yesterday that had looked at it. And the title of this newsletter was What the World Needs Now. And it's just a testament to me that you set your mind on the goal and you follow it all the way to the end, and whatever happens, it's just, okay, you got to make a decision. It's not going to stop me. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fight on if I have to do it myself, if this happens, if that happens. You just do whatever it takes. And so many times, so many of us let those negative energies, oh, I can't, oh, you're this, oh, you're that. And I remember waking up before I sent out this newsletter, and I saw this piece about the lessons of saying you're sorry and what we learned, and it's learning to listen, learning to hear.
I love what you're sharing. You've shared so much that is really powerful, and it's very relatable. How many of us have had this thing that we're bringing forward that we're, it has to be this way, but we get caught up in how it's not working according to plan, and we fret, and we spend this energy on it's not according to plan A. I love how you just go, okay, plan B, okay, plan C, and you're not worrying and wrestling on what isn't, but you're looking at what is and making a commitment to bring that forward. And I think that's something that's really powerful for all of us to remember and to lean into. And Rosalyn, we have a caller on the line, so do you mind if we stop for just a moment and bring them on?
Well, certainly. I'd be happy.
Okay, great. So Cynthia, welcome.
Hi, Rebecca.
Glad to have you today. How are you doing?
I'm good. I always love listening to your show. It's like a pause in my day to just breathe and connect in. I love it.
Well, I appreciate that, and glad to have you listening, joining in from San Francisco, which is great. And I'd love for you to, if you had a comment or a question, I'd love to give you a moment. We'd love to have you join us.
Thank you. Well, I love what you said earlier today, Rebecca, about having that room, because we never know what's going to grow. Like we do something, plant the seed, and then we think it's going to be a little baby bush, but then it turns out to be much bigger, and we have to have room for that. And then I think that ties in with what Rosalyn's saying about the persistence and sort of the gumption to go for it, that when that thing gets bigger and that you're saying yes to it and you're leaning into it. So I love that.
Oh, beautiful. I agree. And Rosalyn, I feel like, is just so good at, she's walking the talk in that in so many different ways. And it's such a good reminder for all of us. When plan A doesn't happen, we can go to plan B. We can still bring it forward. Beautiful. And Cynthia, I didn't know if you wanted to introduce and share your full name. I always want to give our callers an opportunity should they desire to do so.
Thank you. Well, I'm Cynthia Stott, like you said, from San Francisco, and I'm a global visibility expert. And I tell you, when you're going global, things have a way of, we think they're going awry, but sometimes they're just growing into a bigger thing and switching from plan A to B to C to sometimes E or F.
Oh, I love it. Exactly. Well, Cynthia, thank you for calling in and underlining the powerful shares that Rosalyn and Margaret have brought forward. And I think it's important for all of us to allow room for growth. I appreciate you calling in today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your show, and excellent job.
Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate that. Great to hear from you. And then Rosalyn, I wanted to circle back because I think it's so important that we remember this going forward, plan A, plan B. I love that resonated so powerfully with Cynthia, and I'm sure with many of our listeners, to remember that. And I know that in that you get to keep making choices. So you get to choose to go to plan A, choose to go to plan B, etc. And I know that in those choices, you have a powerful gift for us today. And I would love for you to share a little bit about that gift that we can choose to lean into and bring into our life, and then I'll let our listeners know how to find it.
Well, one of the gifts that I have for everyone, the key to happiness is kindness. I wrote this book. It's called Random Acts of Kindness of Changing the World. And what we find on the key to happiness, the key to being able to accomplish all the things that we do in any way that we are, is being kind and grateful to one another. And when we go out and we do these random acts, it's amazing the things that go ahead and happen. I want to share a couple examples. In my sickness that I've recently had, it isn't the people of strength that have come to my door. It's a lady who hobbles over and she goes ahead and stops and says, I could hardly walk, but I knew that you couldn't do this, so I brought you some chicken stir-fry from Thailand. And a lady who has singles who can hardly move but brings me over the curry. Or the dear friend of mine, Henry and Michelle, it's up in Santa Clarita, that comes and cooks food for me. And you truly find the power of these friends when you're sick that you never realize how lucky that you are. And every time a visitor comes to my house, I either do a post and write their name and put it on a Facebook post or send an email message saying, thank you so much. I begin every day by writing an email and telling someone who inspired me the previous day, thanks for touching my life. To the people I work with, there's a guy whose name is Lindley Rogado, who's my hero on my graphic design, and it doesn't matter the day, the hour. He always does it, and it's always there. My Arabia, your personal assistant down in San Diego that I met through Nicole at Eric Swanson's event. When I said I need a helper, I never could imagine this person who's there and everything she does. And in my time of need, she says, here you go, Rosalyn, here's your 2 free extra gifts because I want to help you.
And I love it.
Or about randomness. And
Rosalyn, we do need to go to commercial breaks. I would love for you to share a little bit about the book so I can let them know how to find it.
Certainly. My gift that I have for everyone today is a gift that is on Random Acts of Kindness. It's a collection of stories that my students have gone out and done in the world to reduce their stress. And we find when we read other stories of people going out and doing kind acts, it really makes us feel really good. And that's what my gift is all about.
I love it. And listeners, I hope that you heard her passion and her deep appreciation, and not just that she felt it, but that she's built a pattern into her life to let people know and honor them and thank them and acknowledge them. And I think that is really, really beautiful. And so I appreciated you sharing that, Rosalyn. And I thank you for this beautiful gift, Random Acts of Kindness, to support each of us in developing those patterns and those habits. So we're getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do this, I want you to think of 3 acts of kindness that you could start to build into your life, and one of them that you could do today. Maybe it's sending that email out, maybe it's making a call, maybe it's acknowledging someone on Facebook, whatever it may be. I want you to be thinking about those things, and when we come back, I'm going to let you know how to access her amazing gift.
The Voice America Women's Channel.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
The Voice America Women's Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you came up with your 3 items, 3 acts of kindness that you can bring forward and implement one of those today. I would love to hear what they are and celebrate them and echo them back out into that world, that we can create this beautiful ripple effect of kindness that we are purposely choosing to bring to the world and touch each other's lives in that way. Now, before our break, Rosalyn was sharing a little bit of some of the examples that we can do and bring into our life around kindness. And then she also shared her amazing gift, and I wanted to let you know how to access that. If you go to radiogifts.net, radiogifts.net. It's multiple gifts, a net full of multiple gifts, or a library. And you put in your name and email address so we can stay in touch. And then it'll open up this world of gifts and tools to support you every day of your journey. You can peruse them, say yes to as many as will serve and support you. But to find Rosalyn's gift, you want to scroll down to today's date, which is March 27th. You'll see her beautiful picture, a description of her gift, and I encourage you to lean in and say yes to random acts of kindness that can support you on your journey. And then that'll also let you stay in touch, and you'll get access to those newsletters when you are on her list, so you guys can stay connected. So I encourage you to do that. Again, go to radiogifts.net. And then I asked each of our amazing guests, if 15 seconds or less, they could send a quick tip to support you as you go back out into the world. So Margaret, I'd love to have your tip.
Just always remember to be you. Don't judge you. You become an incredible invitation to the rest of the world to be them.
I love that. Be you and be that invitation. I love that for us to each be ourselves. I love it, love it, love it. Rosalyn, how about you? Absolutely.
My gift to the world is go out and give gratitude each day before you start your day, and the day will be blessed with happiness. Have a blessed and beautiful day. Gratitude beyond words.
Beautiful. And I'm going to underline and add in before your foot hits the floor. I love that. A reminder.
There you go.
Beautiful. So listeners, let's breathe that in. I celebrate you being with us today. I encourage you as you go back out into the world to remember you were made for such a time as this. You being you is a gift to the world. And I hope that you choose, that you're willing to choose as you go forward to bloom where you are planted and shine the gift of you out into the world. Have an amazing week, everyone. I look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Women's Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.